This is every German aircraft of World War II. Fighters, bombers, transports, recon planes, gliders, even helicopters. Over 80 machines, some legendary, some terrifying, some completely insane. First up, fighters and interceptors. Messerschmitt Bf 109. This legendary fighter was the backbone of the German air war. It evolved constantly throughout the conflict. Pilots flew it on every major front from 1939 until 1945. Focke-Wulf FLW 190, known by Allied pilots as the Butcher Bird. This fighter was robust and highly potent. It was arguably the best radial-engined fighter of the war. It offered a crucial performance alternative to the liquid-cooled Messerschmitt. Focke-Wulf TAR 152, Kurt Tank's late war masterpiece. It was designed specifically for high-altitude interception. While incredibly fast and sleek, only a handful ever reached operational units before the war ended. Messerschmitt Bf 110. This was the famous Zerstörer, meaning destroyer. It was formidable in the early campaigns but struggled badly in the Battle of Britain. Later, it excelled as a dedicated night fighter, Messerschmitt Me 210, a truly troubled design intended to replace the Bf 110. It suffered severe aerodynamic instability. Production was halted and the airframe was completely reworked into the successful 410. And now, Messerschmitt Me 410, known as the Hornisse or Hornet. This twin-engine machine solved the stability issues of its predecessor. It served effectively as a reconnaissance platform and a heavy fighter, Heinkel He-51, an older biplane fighter. It saw service in the Spanish Civil War. By the time World War II began, it was relegated almost entirely to advanced training roles. Messerschmitt Me 262, the Schwalbe or Swallow. This was the world's first operational turbojet fighter. Its speed made it nearly invulnerable to Allied piston-engine planes. It represented a true revolution in aviation. Heinkel He-162, the extremely desperate Volksjäger program. This jet was designed to be built quickly and cheaply out of non-strategic material. It was often flown by inexperienced young pilots, and now Messerschmitt Me 163, the infamous Comet. It was the only rocket-powered fighter aircraft ever to see operational service. Its speed was incredible, but handling the volatile fuel was often more dangerous than combat. Back in Bar 349, a radical concept known as the Natter or Adder. This was a vertical takeoff rocket interceptor. It was intended for a short burst, almost suicidal defense against bomber formations. Now this is the Heinkel He-219, known as the Uhu or Owl. This was arguably the most effective dedicated night fighter in the Luftwaffe. It was the first German aircraft fitted with ejector seats, Dornier de 335, the extraordinary Pfeil or Arrow. This heavy fighter had a unique push-pull engine configuration. It was incredibly fast, holding the distinction as the fastest piston-engined aircraft ever built by Germany. Next up, bombers and attack aircraft. Junkers Ju-87, the notorious Stuka dive bomber. Its terrifying Jericho trumpet siren was a sound of fear during the Blitzkrieg campaigns. It proved highly vulnerable without air superiority. Junkers Ju-88A, the primary bomber version of the most versatile aircraft in German service. It was fast and adaptable, used for level bombing, dive bombing, and torpedo attack. Junkers Ju-188, known as the RAE version. This was an intermediate development based on the Junkers 88. It featured a new glass nose design and higher performance engines. Junkers Ju-86, an earlier generation bomber that saw limited use in the 1930s and early World War II. It was famously adapted into a specialized high-altitude reconnaissance aircraft, Dornier de 17, the famous flying pencil. This medium bomber relied on its speed for survival in the early war. Its narrow fuselage gave it a distinct silhouette, Dornier de 215. This was a development of the Dornier 17. It was initially planned for export, but was absorbed into the Luftwaffe for crucial reconnaissance tasks. Now, this is the Dornier de 217, a powerful, larger bomber design that saw extensive use in the bomber, night fighter, and anti-shipping roles. It was known for its robustness and heavy payload. Heinkel He 111, one of the iconic shapes of the early German Air Force, recognizable by its distinctive glazed greenhouse nose. It served reliably throughout the war as a transporting V-1 launcher. Heinkel He 177, the massive Grief, or Griffin. This heavy bomber was plagued by severe engine reliability issues and notorious fires. Despite the troubles, it was the only true long-range German heavy bomber to see service. Next, Arado R234, known as the Blitz, or Lightning. This was the world's first jet-powered bomber and reconnaissance aircraft. It was so fast that intercepting it was virtually impossible. Henschel HS-1223, this rugged biplane dive bomb, was considered obsolete in 1939. Yet, its incredible toughness and maneuverability ensured it served as an effective close support aircraft until 1944. Then, Henschel HS-129, the dedicated tank buster, nicknamed the Bradder can opener. This twin-engined aircraft was heavily armoured and often carried a massive 30 or 75mm cannon. Up next, Focke-Wulf FW-190F. This version was optimised specifically for the Schlachtflieger, or ground attack role. It was heavily armoured to shrug off flak and carry substantial bomb loads. Focke-Wulf FW-190G, a long-range Focke-Wulf fighter bomber variant. It was stripped of some heavy fighter weapons to maximise fuel capacity for deep penetration missions. Focke-Wulf FW-200, known by Winston Churchill as the Scourge of the Atlantic. This long-range patrol bomber hunted Allied convoys and directed U-boats to their targets. Heinkel He 115, a very reliable twin-engine seaplane. It operated extensively in coastal areas, performing mine-laying, torpedo attacks, and long-range reconnaissance missions. Continuing with transport and utility aircraft. Junkers U-52, the legendary Tante Julie, or Auntie Junkers. This tri-motor transport was the tireless workhorse of the Luftwaffe. It was essential in every theatre from Crete to Stalingrad. Junkers Ju-290, a powerful, very long-range, four-engine transport and maritime reconnaissance aircraft. It was developed directly from the 90 bomber concept. Junkers Ju-160, a single-engine fast-passenger aircraft from the 1930s. It saw minor service early in the war, mainly for high-speed liaison and staff transport. Messerschmitt Me 323, the truly immense Gigant or Giant. This six-engine transport was capable of carrying enormous loads, including light tanks and thousands of pounds of supplies. It was extremely vulnerable to fighter attack. Arado R232, known as the Tulsenfüßler or millipede. This modern transport featured an innovative multi-wheel landing gear. This allowed it to operate from very rough, unprepared airstrips. Junkers Ju-90, a large four-engine passenger airliner converted for military transport. It was a precursor to the Junkers 290 maritime patrol aircraft. Siebel C-204, popular light transport and multi-engine crew training. It was used extensively for high-speed liaison duties across occupied Europe. Up next, Messerschmitt Bf 108, known as the Typhoon. This elegant low-wing monoplane was used primarily for fast communication and liaison. It was the design basis for the later 109 fighter. Next, Wiesler V-156, the famous Storch, or Stork. This remarkable aircraft possessed exceptional short takeoff and landing capabilities. It could virtually hover and land almost anywhere, making it invaluable for command liaison. The next one, Siebel F-104, a modern twin-engine communications and liaison aircraft. It was generally used for transporting high-ranking staff officers quickly between headquarters. Junkers W-34, a rugged, successful single-engine utility transport. It was primarily used for training roles and carrying small priority cargo loads. The next one, Junkers W-33, an influential single-engine transport aircraft from the pre-World War II era. It was used mostly for training pilots who would later fly the larger Junkers transports. Heinkel He 46, an older parasol wing reconnaissance biplane. It was largely retired by 1940 but saw initial scouting service during the Polish campaign. Clem KL-31, one of a series of light civilian aircraft that were militarized for basic communications and liaison duties during the war. And now, Clem KL-32. This was a highly successful, slightly larger three-seater version of the Clem family. It was prized for its high performance for a light wooden aircraft. Clem KL-36, a four-seat light touring aircraft designed for racing. In military service, it filled light communications and fast transport roles. Continuing with reconnaissance and maritime aircraft, Focke-Wulf FW-189, the outstanding reconnaissance aircraft known as the Flying Eye. Its twin-boom, glass-intensive design gave the crew an exceptional field of view for battlefield observation. Henschel HS-126, a high-wing monoplane initially used for tactical observation and short-range reconnaissance. It was gradually replaced by the Focke-Wulf 189, Arado R234B Recon. This was the dedicated reconnaissance version of the jet bomber. Its incredible speed allowed it to photograph Allied preparations over Britain without risk of interception. Heinkel He-70, the Blitz, or Lightning. This aircraft was famed for its speed as a fast civilian mail plane. In military service, it was adapted for reconnaissance and liaison. Now this is the Dornier Do 17P, a specific version of the flying pencil optimized for long-range photo reconnaissance. It was fitted with special cameras and extra fuel tanks. Blohm & Voss BV-138, known unofficially as the Flying Shoe due to its unique shape. This sturdy tri-motor flying boat was vital for long-range maritime patrol and reconnaissance over the Atlantic. Next, Blohm & Voss BV-222, the Colossal Viking or Viking. This was one of the largest flying boats built during World War II. It served almost exclusively as a long-range maritime transport aircraft. Dornier Do 24, a very effective tri-motor flying boat renowned for its excellent seakeeping capability. It was used primarily for search and rescue operations. The next one, Dornier Do 18, a sturdy flying boat design. It was one of the first aircraft employed for reconnaissance patrols over the North Sea and the Atlantic at the start of the war. Now, this is the Dornier Do 26, a handsome four-engine flying boat with a highly advanced retractable auxiliary flotation. It was used sparingly for long-range transport and reconnaissance. Heinkel He-59, this large twin-float biplane was initially used for reconnaissance. It gained notoriety when disguised as an air-sea rescue aircraft for intelligence gathering. Heinkel He-60, an aging biplane seaplane utilized for shipboard reconnaissance, launched via catapult. It was largely replaced by the superior Arado 196. Arado R196, this was the standard catapult-launched seaplane aboard major German warships. It was extremely effective, successfully engaging and destroying several Allied submarines and patrol vessels. Heinkel He-114, an obsolescent biplane floatplane that served briefly as a coastal reconnaissance aircraft. It was rapidly phased out as better monoplanes became available. Continuing with gliders, DFS-230, the assault glider famous for the raid on the Belgian fortress of Eben-Emael. It was a crucial silent transport method for airborne forces in the early war. Gotha Go 242, a large twin-boom troop and cargo glider. It was heavily used for supply missions, particularly on the Eastern Front before powered transports were more available. Messerschmitt Me-321, this was the largest glider of the war, designed to carry heavy equipment or 200 soldiers. Its immense size required the use of multiple tow aircraft, leading to the development of the 111Z. Next up, trainers. Focke-Wulf 131, the famous Jungmann or young man. This primary trainer biplane was exceptionally responsive and helped establish the superb standards of early Luftwaffe pilot training. Focke-Wulf 133, the incredible Jungmeister or young master. This advanced aerobatic trainer was legendary for its agility. It refined the skills of the Luftwaffe's most talented fighter pilots. And now, Heinkel He-72, known as the Cadet. This biplane was one of the essential primary trainers of the new German Air Force in the 1930s. Clem Cal 35, a widely used basic and advanced trainer in the 1930s and early World War II. Its forgiving handling made it ideal for student pilots. A Radoir 96, a single-engine advanced monoplane trainer. It was used to introduce student pilots to the handling characteristics of modern operational aircraft. Focke-Wulf FAV-144, known as the Stieglitz or Goldfinch. This was a hugely successful and popular primary biplane trainer. Many future Luftwaffe aces learned their trade in this aircraft. Now this is the Focke-Wulf FW56, known as the Stuka. This was a single-seat parasol-wing monoplane. It served mainly as a transition trainer for pilots moving into fighter aircraft. The next one, WWII 181, known as the Best Man or Best Man. This low-wing trainer was intended to teach pilots the characteristics of modern monoplane fighters. A Radoir 76, a small single-seat parasol-wing monoplane designed as both a fighter trainer and, potentially, an emergency defensive fighter. Then, Gotha Go 145, a basic, robust two-seater biplane trainer. Like many older trainers, it saw late war service as a night attack aircraft, dropping small bombs on the Eastern Front. A Radoir 66, a venerable biplane trainer. Despite its age, it was surprisingly utilised as a light night nuisance bomber on the Eastern Front, harassing Soviet ground troops. Focke-Wulf FW-58, popular twin-engine aircraft used widely for crew training, light transport and air ambulance roles. Its versatility made it a valuable utility machine. Siebel C-202, a light civilian two-seater aircraft pressed into service for initial flight screening and basic training roles during the war. Finally, we have helicopters and Autogyros. Focke-Wulf FA-223, the Drach or Dragon. This was a pioneering twin-rotor transport helicopter. It was built in small numbers and demonstrated impressive lifting capability. Flettner FL-282, known as the Colibri or Hummingbird. This was a groundbreaking reconnaissance helicopter utilizing the Flettner synchronized rotor system. It was deployed on warships for observation. Focke-Wulf FAR 330, this highly unusual design was a small, collapsible rotary wing kite. It was deployed by U-boats to provide much-needed aerial observation while surfaced far out in the Atlantic.